Organizational reviews are like checkups at your dentist office. You really know it's good for you, but you still don't want to sit on that chair. It's like feedback, like user reviews, like everything that we product managers believe in. And still, we try to avoid that as much as possible. And it's not fun to any of the parties involved in it. But today, things are going to be different because we are going to look at and review organizational reviews and to see how can we do it better and actually how can we do it right. I hope that you are ready for a to the point, tactical, and as practical as it gets product management webinar because leaders, this is review time. By the way, nice to meet you. My name is Maria Cassis, and I'm the founder and general manager of Product League, where we help you to become the best product manager you can be. Product League is an international mentoring program for product managers by product managers in 30 countries around the world. Today, you're going to meet 3 of our mentors, and we are going to review product artifacts together to make you into a better product manager, into a better product leader. We believe in you. And in this review webinar, 3 Product League mentors will review actual processes. We're going to dive in. We're going to look at how different companies, some companies that you may know, review their employees, their product managers, and to see how can we as a community grow together and decide on maybe better ways to review our product managers. I hope that you are ready. I hope that you're ready with questions because, dear leaders, this whole session is about you and we can't wait to get to know you better. So please go ahead, wherever it is that you watch us right now, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, please go ahead to the section comments and tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, what is your issue with organizational reviews, because as I said, this is not an easy subject, and exactly for that, this is a very important subject, and I hope that you're as excited about this session as I am. So go ahead, tell us what is it that you want to know, tell us who you are, and please don't forget to give us a like, right? Click the like button, share this session with your colleagues, with your friends, maybe with your boss, okay? Because we are going to define how organizational reviews should be done the right way, and we are starting now with our first panelist for today. Let's meet you, Henshi. Our first panelist for today is Chen Shir from Tel Aviv, Israel, Product Management Advisor at Chen Shir and Product League Mentor. With a background in building teams and processes for products with millions of users in a range of industries, Chen is a product and strategy expert specializing in consulting for startups. And it's about time that you will be on our stage, I have to say. And you're muted. This is the tagline of this era.
Yeah, I'm muted. Finally, Moria. So excited. Wow.
Yeah. So Henshir has been with us for some quite time by now, but it's the first time that she's here in these sessions with us. She's been with us in a book review at the past, but not in this session. So I'm so happy to have you, Hen, with us today. And what shall we do now? Shall we bring Kirsten to the stage?
I'm honored to be here, and you should.
We should do it right now, and we're going to see you back in just a minute. And now, please shout out a big hello to Karsten Bockheimer from Bonn, Germany, lead product manager at Smart Recruiters and Product League Mentor. Karsten loves to build product teams that are able to develop successful products. His work is focused on the topics of product management, product ownership, Scrum, and leadership. Hello.
Hello.
Our man in Bonn, what's up?
All good here in Bonn.
Happy to have you here with us today. This is your second time with us in this kind of session. The previous time was in Ask Me Anything session. So happy to have you here with us on this review session. And shall we call Boaz to join us here? What do you say, Kirsten?
Sure, let's do it.
Let's do that. And last but definitely not least, let's welcome Boaz Siegelman, Chief Product and Delivery Officer at Pangolin Labs and Product League Mentor. Boaz Siegelman has over 15 years of experience managing products, projects, and programs in global cross-functional environments as well as lean startups. Boaz is all about music, coffee, and riding his bike. So what does coffee has to do with, running organizational reviews? We should find a link there, how to do it the better way.
Maybe at the end of the hour, we'll know better.
That's correct. How are you today, Boaz?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Happy to be here. Really happy.
Happy to have you here with us. And now it's time to call the gang to our floor. Let's bring Kirsten back and Chen joining us here. The Magnificent Three are back with us, and we are just about to start, because before we will dive in, let's take a look who we've got joining us today. So we have Tomer, our mentee at Product League. Tomer Elias joining us. Hi, happy to be here. Happy to have you here. Another mentee is joining us, Adas. Very excited to have you here with us. Ilan, another leaguer, is here joining us. This is fantastic. So many of the leaguers are in the audience, and I want to see more, and I want to get these leaguers to get to know these leaguers better. So please, guys, go ahead. This is your call to action. Let us know what is it on your mind and heart when it comes to reviews, because we don't really like them. Is that true, guys? What do you say? Do we enjoy giving and receiving organizational reviews? Let's open that before we dive in. What is your take about on the feeling of being there in that room, sharing and receiving feedback?
Yeah, it's not one of the things that you look forward to, but it's crucial, right? And that's the whole point. It's crucial. And just because you don't like something doesn't mean you don't need to do it. And it can also be fun as well, or at least okay experience if you do it right.
And this is what we're going to discuss today, right? How to do it right, how to make this sometimes horrible experience for both parties involved, I want to say, okay, for everyone involved, into a better, more pleasant one that we can actually grow from, right? Because it's not just about discussing this feedback, discussing this review. It's about making the team into a better team, making every individual on the team into a better individual or product contributor, and overall, to build better products. So we're going to start with setting the ground for this discussion with what we like to
Are you ready to learn from Amit? Let's.
Something happened here, so I'm just going to turn it off. I don't know what happened. Okay, so you'll forgive me for this one. The 10 commandments of I got confused, of organizational reviews. Okay, we're going to start with that. The first one that we're going to discuss is actually a very simple forward one. Is about streamlining the processes. Now, here's the thing. No one likes that, as we said. And everyone feels that organizational reviews are somewhat personal. And to me, I think that this is where the problem comes from. Okay, when we feel it's personal, when we feel it's about this exact person that sits in the chair and feels like they're a target in some way. Okay, so when we make things streamlined, when we make it so clear and obvious, it's for everyone on the team, for everyone in the organization, when it's not about the person in front of us, but about the professional in front of us. Okay, so less personal, more streamlined. This is where I think we get things better, and people, can relate to it in a better way. So this was my thing to recommend everyone when we are talking about the 10 commandments of reviews. And Boaz, you are now to share your 3 commandments.
Okay, great. Thanks, Maria. So, first of all, there are many types of reviews, right? There is a quarterly or semi-annual or an annual one. I was referring to the annual one because it's the most meaningful one, the most extensive one. Sometimes it's tied to the bonus or a pay raise or whatever, something very meaningful for the other side as well, for the both parties. So the commandments take the annual session in mind. And also I try to make them suitable for both the reviewer and the reviewee, so everybody listening now can take something away. Okay, so my first one is set and communicate the date and time for the review session in advance and come prepared. I think this is crucial, right? As we said, this is a very important session, and just finding time the last 20 minutes of a one-to-one weekly one-on-one meeting and doing the annual session there is just not good. Coming unprepared and improvising is also, again, not good. I would
You
I
can
would
even say
recommend
that
definitely.
acceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I've seen things happen like that in the past, and the outcomes were not good. Anyway, that's the first one. So set the date, set the time, come prepared. Second one is don't hold back on what you have to say, both to your reviewer and the reviewee. For the reviewer, for the manager giving the review, if you hold back and you don't say what you really think, how will the other side know? How will she, as a product manager, learn and improve if there are things that you think but don't say? And for the reviewing, not to be shy, not wanting to confront the boss or something like that. It's the best time to talk about these things because actually the session is dedicated to such a discussion. So why not make the most of it? And that kind of takes me very nicely to the third commandment, which is about the how. Be gentle and polite. And as you said, it can be a very stressful session. And for both parties, take that in mind and say what you have to say, but in a nice and respecting way. That's my commandment.
Yeah, that's very important. We're all people, and we should treat each other respectfully with good manners. Absolutely, I appreciate the fact that you mentioned this one. Thank you very much, Boaz. Hen, Sheer, what are your 3 commandments?
Yeah. So my first one, and I like it in any kind of feedback. I think it's not just for the annual or quarterly on any. Be positive. Say something positive as well, not just don't think about the things that needs to be improved. Also about the strengths of this person and what's good in it and what he's been doing very good. And always, and I think the second one. That's my second one. So it's connected in some way to Boaz's second bullet, but I think that one of the most important things is allowing the other side say and give his opinion as well. Allow the other side bring their thoughts and allow them to actually give feedback, not just to say, hey, I need more, I don't know, tools or something like that. Let them say what they really think because it's mutual and it needs to be mutual. This is how we grow. And the last thing is set measurable goals, something that we all agree on, something that we think that we can that the both parties thinks are valuable and can be achievable in the time that it was set to.
Did you just mention SMART goals, the thing that we in Product League admire and believe it the most? Absolutely.
I live by measurable goals.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's about being positive, as you mentioned, and not just negative, and about setting the discussion to having great outcome. It's not just about the discussion. Nothing is about the discussion. It's about what comes after. So thank you very much, Hen, for your 3. Kasim, are you ready?
Yes, sure. Yeah, so I have the number 1 commandment. It's probably a little bit more about the preparation and the context setting before that. So I would say that it's really important to always make the career path, because it's also something which is part of this kind of reviews, to make them as transparent as possible, as well as the expectation for regarding each role and each level, so that really everyone involved has a clear picture on what are the expectations and the next career path for every individual going forward. So I think that's extremely helpful. Secondly, what I always did or a second commandment would be to try to gather feedback from a lot of different peers and stakeholders as well, to see also their perspective on your individuals. so that they also have a way to contribute to this process and to get some feedback on the overall development. And as Jen already mentioned, it's always good to say also some positive things. So also to provide some positive examples on how the collaboration with the stakeholders or the peer group went so far. It's always good to put into consideration and into the discussion. So that's my number 2. And number 3, it's always about timelines, right? So you always need to have timelines for each of your action items you're agreeing on at the end. What should be done in the next expected timeline, and to set these dates transparent and probably already invite people to follow-ups or to additional discussion points to follow up on these different action items, which are probably the end of this review talk. So this would be my 3 commitments.
Amazing, so important. And yes, it's also showing that we talk as an organization or a department, and it's never just about us, the specific leader or manager of the group or the team. It's to show that we are unioned around our timelines, as you said, around our goals, and not just around a specific day or time when we share the feedback. It's about something bigger than that. So absolutely, Karsten, thank you very much. And let's see what our leaguers have to say about organizational reviews. Let's see what they said in the comments. And we have Alexei here saying it's empowering. I think it's a process that has 2 sides, that's for sure. And I love to see the word empowering here, because absolutely, when it's done right, you leave the session and the room empowered, right? You know where you're heading to, you know where your KPIs are, you know what the timeline is, you know what the team thinks about you and where you're heading. So absolutely, thank you very much, Alexei. And we have Tomer here saying it's a chance to reflect and also define goals for professional and product growth, and also define what are the steps to improve. Yeah, absolutely. So I like to see that we're all thinking the same way here. And our leaguers here are joining us and saying, what is it on their mind and heart when it comes? And we see some potential, right? We see here that mentees believe that there is an opportunity to grow in these sessions. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into it right now. So what we're going to do right now is to discuss and to review, as this session is called, actual processes of companies. These are processes from real companies, okay? We're going to see how they do it. We are going to share our thoughts about that, and we're going to do that with grace. So we are starting now with Quantum, okay? This is the real thing. This is their process, and let's see how it's done, okay? So this is their 90 days review. Their purpose, as they call it, is use this template to review an employee's first 90 days at the company, align on employee role, resources, and goals, clarity of the role, what are your favorite and least favorite parts of this job, what are the responsibilities, what excites you most about your responsibilities. Then they're discussing training tools and resources. Okay, so they're discussing the resources and tools, and then they ask what other resources and tools you can use to do your job better. And the third, do you have all the information that you need to do your job effectively? After that, they do goal settings and alignment, where they ask, are there any goals that will be challenging for you to accomplish this month or quarter? And do you understand how your personal goals align with team goals? And the last, what do you think will be the keys to your success over the next 6, 9, and 12 months? Okay, so this is how Quantum do their first 90 days of the company review. And let's see what our mentors have to say about that. Buzz, I see you're smiling. And I think this is a time for me to ask, why are you smiling? What do you really think? Tell me how you really think about
first of
this
all,
template.
Yeah, some things here I really like, right? I mean, it's really nice to have this session, which is one-off, right? You have it only once in your life in the organization after 90 days and not again in this context. And people are asking you, I'm not sure about the scenery here and who is making this conversation, but someone from the organization is asking you how you like it and what you like about your job and what you don't, and if you have all the tools, which is great. But to me, it's like, it's like sitting in a cafe with a friend, right? And you're asking, what's your favorite part of the job? Do you have everything it takes? It doesn't seem to be part of the actual, employer who is asking you that. I mean, I'm expecting some productivity discussions. It's 90 days already. You already did some stuff. So what did you achieve? What are you behind on? What's holding you back? And also, what are you doing about it, right? Which is you're a product manager, you're a PM. Do something about it. You need to move mountains. So maybe you're missing some resource. Go and get it, right? So that's my. That's what I have to say.
Yeah. This is more than 2 cents. This is more than 2 cents, absolutely. And if to summarize what you're saying, Boaz, you're saying the idea is great, but the execution is maybe too friendly and less productive oriented than we would expect it to be.
Yeah, when I looked at it, I thought maybe it's HR talk, right? HR is talking to the person, how are you getting acquainted, all those questions, and less getting into the details because it's not their job and they don't know the details. Maybe it's that, I don't know.
Very interesting. Thank you very much, Boaz. Carsten, what do you think? And Chen, Shir, get ready because you're next.
So first of all, I think it's good to give the individual a voice to also share their perspective. So I run in the past a lot of reviews where only the manager were talking, and that's probably also not the opposite, which is also not quite good. So I like it that they're giving the employee a voice, and to share some of his thoughts. But I think that's more like an overall high level review. It's not so particular in case of product management or the achievements or the goals, but also not so much in terms of what is the outcome you achieved so far. So I would also miss some of these more in detailed product questions. So I would agree with Boaz that probably it's more like an HR kind of review on the onboarding overall from a high level perspective. So for me, it's not that in-depth enough to really, make some good and pretty good action items out of that when it comes to the product management role in specific.
Yeah, interesting. So we've got 2 mentors, panelists, think this is more of an HR-ish review than product management review, organizational review. And Chen, I wonder where you are on that.
So I see the same. I think the same.
Okay.
When I saw it, I immediately thought that it seems like something that is not related to the day-to-day job. Like it doesn't seem to have anything related to the tasks that this product manager has. It's more about is she getting to set up in the organization well. So I think that in that sense, I agree. So you have 3 panelists that think that it's that it looks like an HR, but I think that even though I agree with Kristen that it is an opportunity for the employee to speak up and say what they need, and I think it's a great opportunity to do it also at the beginning, because I think that when someone asks you what you need, it's a great opportunity to say I need this and this and that, because you've done something now, and after 90 days you've worked a little bit, a few things. You can speak up and say what you need. I think that it's not balanced. There is no feedback from the manager of this person in this sheet. At least there is it's not balanced.
Yeah, and it goes back to what Boaz said earlier. Like, you're in the company for 90 days now. Okay, so you've been around, you started working on things. Like, how did you manage to deal with these challenges? What were your challenges? What did you do to hack around them? So yeah, absolutely. We see an overall theme here where the the attention to the way the employee, the product manager feels is highly appreciated, right? We all appreciate the good attention, and the intentions that this hiring manager and apparently the product team leader of whatever size feels and want to bring to the table. But it's like, hey, you're a product manager. Where are the timelines? Where are the tasks? How do you overcome the challenges?
Exactly.
Yep. I love what you guys share with us. And now we are moving to another process from a company that most of us probably know and use maybe sometimes. And this company is Monday.com. Okay, now this one is a bit big. Okay, we're going to share that. So here it is. I like to say something. I love the fact that they are eating their dog food. Okay, they are using their product for the review, which is nice. I think this is very nice. And let's see what they do here. So they segment it by feedback and review from different people. So they have from marketing team, sales team, and others if needed. Okay, they decided that for product management, what they need to share is, in terms of peers, is feedback from sales and marketing. They have the person, okay, named there. What are key responsibilities? And actually, I'm mistaken here. Okay, this is not feedback from these people. This is feedback for these people. Okay, pardon. And they list the key responsibilities for the person. They give a rate whether this person is on their track for product success. Did we discuss that with them? What is their rating that this person gives themselves on their performance? What is the rating that the peers give that person on their performance? Quality of their work, how many initiatives that they bring to the table. Okay, what is the communal behavior of them, technical behavior, and if they were reviewed or not, when was it happening, stuff like that. This is how they document it, and they even attach files for documentation, which I think is nice. So this is actual review. How they do it in marketing, sales, and product. I don't know why product is not mentioned here, but I know that this one is for product as well. So tell me, guys, what do you think? And this time, Chen, we're starting with you. I'm here to challenge you.
So first, I think that I like the fact that you can see your measurable goals. So you know what you're being reviewed on. And I think that when you see that everyone is reviewed on the same thing, it's very important. I don't know if the entire company sees the same thing, because we know that Monday speak about it, that they're very transparent. So I don't know if this is also transparent, that all employees can see this feedback. I also like the fact that they use I think that this is their, values. I believe those 5 things that they need to measure. So those are values, and I like that they check if you are on value or not. But it's missing some human touch. Yes. Something warm a little bit. Something is missing here, and maybe because it looks like it's a project management tool. And
one may say,
one may say, but it's missing some human touch. And I don't know exactly what it is that is lacking, but that's my feeling.
I completely agree with you. On one hand, it is super nice to see how they utilize their own product and software to do many things. But on the other hand, do we really want to think about ourselves as projects? I mean, we're all projects, but do we really want to feel this way about ourselves?
There is something about sorry that I cut you, but there is something about how they sell themselves as it's an everything tool.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And that's what they're trying to do here, to say that you can do everything.
And they are committed to it.
Yeah, but I think that they took it one step too far, in my opinion. It's like, you can wed people here. I don't know, like you can do everything.
Yeah.
Let's
I completely agree with you. I completely understand what you're saying. And yeah, it's like an almost. Like you appreciate what they do, but it's an almost. And we're staying with that almost because, Buzz, what do you think?
Yeah, okay. Well, first, a small disclaimer, right? As part of our work in OP, the app OP Sign is part of the Monday.com marketplace, and we're editor's choice there, by the way. And I have a lot of connections and a lot of day-to-day work with the Monday people and the Monday processes. And I was not surprised to see this, screenshot, because really everything that Monday does is on Monday. Everything is a board, or maybe a form, or now also a doc. And even processes that really don't make sense. And this one is okay, I think, and it actually even pretty good for manager view, like a dashboard. Okay, so I have this employee and that employee, and I gave them so and so, and they gave themselves so and so, and they're doing well, with all the colors and all the Monday bells and whistles. But like Chen said, okay, so what are we measuring here? That we are on track? Not really. That's not what the reviews is all about. It's not. It's also a task that you need to finish, but that's not what it's about. And the parts where there is more discussion about the actual person, about what they did and didn't, about some real life examples, all of that is not here. So if this is everything, it's not enough. If it's a manager dashboard or just the bird eye view, I like it. And also, like I said, I'm used to Monday, so I like the two.
Nice thought. Thank you very much, Boaz. Kirsten.
Yeah, so I would start with something I like on this one. It's the bidirectional aspect, that you're having a self-assessment and the manager assessment at the same time. That's always really good to start a conversation and to have some points to talk about what could be possible differences here. Other than that, I'm unfortunately not a big fan of reviews where people try to use the same categories and the same areas for every role, no matter which department or which area they are up to. So I really like to have a little bit more specific questions and categories for each role and for each department, and to be a little bit more specific to the different roles and also to the different aspects of the job, because it's highly different, the aspects you need in marketing than you need in product management, or probably even on sales, which is the second item here. So I would rather use always some reviews where you have some more dedicated areas for each role and also for each level, to make it a little bit more, not personal in this case, but more personal to the whole context of the role. So that's
Can I elaborate a little bit on what you said, Kirsten, if I may?
Yeah, sure.
I love what you mentioned, because to me, it's an opportunity for us managers to increase trust, because then it feels like the feedback is tailored around the situation and around the job, and not just about title and company, but specifically tailored to the outcome that is expected. And this is where and when we can increase trust. So I love this one very much.
Yeah, so when it's the job of every product manager to increase the outcome, then that's one of the major facts which is missing here, because it's streamlined to match all the different jobs and all the different roles at the company. So yeah, but I like this bidirectional approach, the self-assessment, and as a bird eye view here on the as a tool to see how my people are and what are they good in, and where they probably have some strengths and weaknesses on one view. It's really great. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kirsten. I agree with what you guys mentioned, and I think that you mentioned one very important thing. You mentioned actually very few very important things. I'm sorry, but one thing was super catchy to me, and I want us to spend a few minutes to discuss that. You guys mentioned the differences between having a bird eye view as managers to track everything, and what is shared with, one, the company, and second, with the person who's receiving the feedback, the reviewee. Okay, so let's touch upon that a little bit, because I think this is worth our time. Okay, what are the differences that we think we need to find in the way that the company documents or communicate these different artifacts? For example, what don't we want to include within the document that is shared with the whole company? Okay, for example, or what do we think that is super important to keep in this high level view that is accessible for the manager or the managers to see what's happening on their team? Go ahead, guys, tell me your thoughts. I'm here to challenge you. Yeah. Okay. This is what I do here. This is my role. You answer the questions and I'm here to tackle you with the ones.
Yeah, so I waited for such a question. So I think it depends on the cultural aspects of the company. So that I think it's definitely better to have at least a little bit more transparency when it comes to these reviews, and also when it comes to the context, and also to the things like the salary and stuff like that. So I really like this approach from the different companies, and I think Monday is one of them. We're trying to increase transparency even further, but it's also about setting the right context for everyone around, that they know what you're sharing with them and what does it mean. So that's just by sharing such a view, you can also create a lot of collateral damages across the organization when doing it wrong. So I think it's good to be a little bit more transparent here, and especially also to know the strengths and weakness of each of your individuals, also in the team, so that you know, okay, when I know that my person next to me is rated really great on communication, that's someone I can go to and ask some questions or some guidance on certain topics. So I think, especially in this area, it's great to know what are other people's good at, or what are their strengths and weaknesses. But it still depends on the culture.
As with everything else in product management, it always depends. But absolutely, I agree with you. I agree with you on this one. And who was the other person who was trying to speak earlier?
All of us, I think.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's a good indication for me.
I'm gonna catch the microphone.
Yes.
I think that in regards to transparency, I think that that's my opinion, and I think that this is something that that should be kept in, like, how am I performing? It's something that should be kept to myself and to my manager or to HR, but nothing that should go out to my peers, because I think it can hurt the way they see me and can harm communication. As you said, Maria, collateral damage. I think that in some areas you can reflect that, and I think that when you spoke, Kirsten, I just thought that maybe a good way to do kind of organizational review is to do strengths and weaknesses, to do the personality test of know your strengths, and that's something that is more definitive, and it's scientifically tested as something that over and over people get the same result. So you can share that with the organization. That's good, and that's where you can highlight people's strengths and say, hey, this person's strength, you can get assistance from him. But I don't think that going into the details, are you performing well, should be reflected to the entire organization. In regards to your question, what should be in an overall and to personal, I think in personal level, you need to have a lot of details.
Yes.
Of, more like, that's what was missing. If that was a dashboard, that's what was missing, in my opinion, in the Monday view.
Yeah, perhaps it's in one of the documents attached. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. But this is a good insight on hands-on, because a document is attached to something, is not the main thing. Okay, and what Chen, I think, is trying to say, the details are the main thing here, because it's not just about the category of how well am I doing or not. It's about the juicy stuff of how can I become better at what I do. Okay,
Of
so
course.
It's a
yeah,
qualitative data. It's a
Yeah,
qualitative
and
data.
you can't put that in a bullet.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love this one. I love what you mentioned with us, Hen. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And Boaz, bring it on.
Okay. Yeah. So first of all, I agree with what you guys are saying. Absolutely. And one of the commandments was to say everything and to share everything from all sides. And that also refers to the documentation of post session, post-mortem. So everything, right? The employee should be able to access the document or the file or the board or whatever the digital format is and to see everything. Also, we talked about that as well. Some people are very stressed during the session. They miss out on what has been said. They need to go back and have something to read on when they're more relaxed and willing to absorb.
Absolutely. And let's be honest about that. Sometimes we are stressed as well on these
Yeah,
meetings.
absolutely.
Okay. So we needed
Yeah.
the documentation as well. Okay. It's helping us on our job as well. And it allows us to track the performance, right? Because sometimes when, someone on the team on a specific aspect of their job, brought a performance from 6 to 8, that's a lot. Okay. And we want to see this gap going forward. We want to make sure that we appreciate, this person putting in the effort to climbing and to make their performance better, even if this is just from 6 to an 8. It's not into being exceptional. So yes, absolutely. Details, as you said, Boaz. Thank you very much for that. And are you ready for another project management tool to be reviewed? Not the project itself, but the way that they review their own employees and product managers. And we are now going into the Asana process. Okay, this is Asana's employee performance review example. Okay, it starts with your name, when it's done, the date, the rating. Okay, they put a rating in words. This is important to mention. Okay, so this is not on a numerical aspect. Here they list all the strengths of the employee, the product manager. Then they list opportunities for this product manager to become better at their job, goals, and that's it. So it's about rating in words, strengths, opportunities, and goals. What do you say, guys? I will show us all in one and let us know. What do you think about the Asana way for reviewing? Who wants to start?
Okay, I can start.
Yes.
I like it. I think first of all, it's a quarterly review, and that makes it a bit leaner, right? There is not so much information there. It's very cherry picking. What is your strength? One strength. What is your opportunity? One opportunity. And that's great for quarterly because it allows you to focus on something very specific. I also like the wording, like you said, often exceeds expectation, even though really everybody translates it to a 4 or a 5 or a 3 or whatever it is. There's still a nice touch to that. And everything is nicely formatted. I like the fact that the strength, if you can zoom in on that for a sec.
Of course.
Yeah, let's see. All right. So she excelled in team collaboration by stepping up and so and so. So you did something good. You're good at that. And here is the example. I like it. It's missing from the opportunity. I would appreciate, an example about that. Why are you saying that to me? What are you basing this on? I want to see the example for that as well.
This is nice. So going back to what you mentioned about details, showing the path of how the manager came to that conclusion reflects something to the reviewing. Very interesting. Thank you very much. Boaz, Kirsten.
Yeah, so I think it's good to have a review on a recurring basis and on a quarterly basis. It's a really good idea. just to have some short sessions throughout the year instead of one big one, where you probably cannot put all the details and all the topics inside of that. And also, always it's hard to remember what you did 12 months before. So that's why I like this kind of quarterly approach. But again, I think it's an overall thing which could match every role. Yeah, so I'm a big fan also of these kind of skill spider diagrams, where you see different areas of your work and your things you need to do on a regular basis, and where you are rated here. Additionally, I'm missing the bi-directional thing, so I really love this kind of self-assessment and manager assessment, and bring each to and compare both of each other, to also give the employee the chance to reflect on probably also my expectation, or my self-awareness is not the right one, because I'm completely differently rated from the outside. So I think it's great that it's recurring. It's great that it's really lean. But I'm really a big fan of these kind of comparisons between manager and employee reviews, and how to visualize them in a better way. Because also by just real visualization, you get a lot of other benefits as well.
Very interesting. I agree with you. Thank you very much, Kirsten. Chen.
Yeah, so I think that it's very personal in a way, because it does speak about strengths and opportunities, and you see, unlike the first two that we've seen, this is more, I think that it has more human touch, if I may. It's more personal. However, I do think that it's lacking in, and I think it's connected to what Kirsten is saying. It's lacking some measurable items. There is in the goals. If you can zoom in on goals, there is the opportunity to say, okay, there are some goals that we've set, but how do you know that we've reached them? What have we been doing so far? I think that it's a bit out of context in some way, out of looking at it as a whole scope from where I've been before and how have I progressed.
Absolutely. And guys, I want to challenge you a little bit, so I'm going to take the devil advocate seat in just 1 second. But before I do that, I want to remind everyone in the audience that you've got 2 call to actions. The first one is please let us know in the comment section, what is it on your mind and hearts when it comes to organizational reviews. We already received some really interesting questions from the audience, and we're going to answer them very, very soon. So this is your first call to action. And the second one, please go ahead and give us a like, because you know how the algorithm work, right? So show us some product love, share this session with your colleagues, with your friends, maybe with your boss even, and spread the word about how to do organizational reviews the right way. Now, I am taking the seat of the devil advocate, asking you guys, as we know, there are about at least 50 shades of product managers out there. Some of us know how to write well, and some of us not really, okay? So when we're seeing a template for a review that is all focused on words, do we really think that this serves everyone in our community? Because I can imagine a few good product management team leaders that will struggle with the challenge of putting their thoughts about other people, about their employees, their team members, into words. What do you say about that?
I think it should be one of their SMART goals to improve in it, because it's
That's
crucial.
for sure. That's for sure. And I agree with you on this one. I agree with you, because both communication and, let's call it verbal skills, okay, are a big part of what we do. But when it comes to rate other people, and again, I'm taking a specific seat here, okay? I'm playing a specific role here. I'm not sure that everyone can deal with this kind of format. I don't know. Let's talk about that.
I think you cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it. Yeah, you have to try to challenge yourself doing it, because you cannot rate people with just numbers. those are humans. You can't just use numbers to say, okay, he's 5 out of 10, he's 3 out of 6. Like, it doesn't work like this. It's the same, 5 out of 10 and 3 out of 6. But it doesn't work like this. We need something more, and it's back to, I keep saying human touch, but we need something that is more personal about us, and that we will feel, because I think it's a very a stressful moment. We need that the person sitting in front of us telling us things that are about us. And I think that when I try to look at someone and tell them something that I really do think that they need to improve in, I should be able to think about this person and use words and not just numbers.
I agree. And now, to make this challenge even bigger, okay, I'll ask you guys. Yes, Boaz, go ahead.
Yeah.
You've got the virtual mic for me.
Okay, yeah. So, when you're writing a review, it should sound like you, right? And if the format is not like what you would typically say or write, then it looks like it's not really you. It doesn't come out authentic enough. So if you're not a person of many words, don't write paragraphs, maybe write bullets. Try to find a way to make your voice heard in any format. If you make it artificial, the message will be lost, I think.
I highly agree. These were wise words. Absolutely. And I want to challenge you guys a little bit further. Okay, so we all agree that we need something that is personal. However, maybe too personal is too much sometimes. Maybe we need to make sure that the way we look at numbers is streamlined or universal across the organization. Maybe we need to attach words into numbers to make sure that we all think and talk the same way. What do you say?
Personally, I don't think I got the point.
Okay, that's good. This is a call to action for me to work on my communication skills. I like this one. Okay, so when we're talking about giving a rate or a grade to an employee, okay, so from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, whatever it is that we choose, okay, is it enough to use a numeric matter, okay, just the number, or do we need to make sure that we attach some word definition to it, so we make sure that the same rate or grade is used the same way across the organization or the department or the team?
Okay, so from my experience, it does come together typically, and people remember the number, even though you say the words, they translate it to the number in the head. It's also 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 2 out of 5 is very clear, and sometimes exceeds expectations is a little bit less clear. So
yeah, it's 11 out of 10. What does it mean? What does it mean, 11 out of 10? Yeah,
I think in the end, and we are all as PMs also rational people, and we think also in numbers. So I think the numbers are fine.
But
thank you very
sometimes
much,
it's easier.
Yes,
but sometimes it's easier to understand if you say, or to put some examples on expectations, right? So when you say, okay, we are having a 5, so on communication skills you need to be a 5. But the question is, what does 5 means in terms of what does it mean in real life? So I would rather say it's good to have some examples. What a typical 2, 4, 6, 8, or 10 looks like, or what is the expected behavior when you're rated like this? So I think it's, in the end, we are rational and we are looking at the number, of course, but to give some limited guidance to tell people what you would expect when it's getting to a 10 or to a 5 or another number, it's always helpful. Because otherwise everyone would rate himself as a 10 or as an 8, but he doesn't know what an 8 means in this context, in this company, or in the expectation setting with the manager. So I would rather say that it's good to have something to point out. It's the same like we do in Scrum, where we have a user story, where what we use as an example story or a reference story. So I would like to transport this reference idea from the Scrum estimation into the review as well.
Absolutely, you're a Scrum guy all the way. Thank you very much, Kirsten. Chen, anything to add, or shall we move on to questions from the audience? So it's Q&A.
Nothing to add to this one.
Okay, but
You can
stay
move
with
to
us
Q&A.
here. Stay with the mic open, because we've got a really interesting question coming from Hadass, asking, what do you think about peer reviews? And Chen, tell us, what do you think about peer reviews?
I love it, but I don't think it should be just that. I think that peer review is very, very important, because there are some things that you can't see as a manager unless someone else will highlight that, for good and for bad. So I think that it's highly important. I think that it should be collected not just from peers that you work with directly in your cross department, for instance, product manager versus developers or designers that needs to review this product manager, but also co-workers that work in the same department, or people from different departments that might have less touch with this person, because it brings a lot of value. I do think that it should be, but it should be balanced between, like, if I will take it as, if I will need to scale it, so 50% of what they think to 50% what as a manager I think. It can't be overwhelming to the other person in some way.
Yeah, that's a
and
big
the manager
one,
should
actually.
control it. And the manager control it. You need to cherry pick the thing that he thinks that should be transferred to this employee, that this employee should know about.
Absolutely. And this is a big one, right? Try not to overwhelm the other person sitting in front of you too much. This is important. Thank you very much. Chen, Boaz, what do you think about peer reviews?
Well, what Chen just said reminds me of one of my bosses. We used to say in our management meetings, we are a democracy. Everybody gets to say their opinion, and then I decide, right? And this is kind of it. I want to hear what people have to say, what peers have to say. Like Chen said, they see things that I don't, right? The interactions that are completely out of my radar, and I want to know about that. And then I want to take all of this into mind and decide what to include and what to exclude, basically. I think there is one person in charge of this process, and she should get all the help they can with the other people in the organization.
It's like having many authors, but an editor, to make sure that the message that comes across is actually consumable for the person who received that. I love that. Thank you very much. And Kirsten, what do you think?
Yeah, I like this kind of approach as well. I have not so much to add on what Chen already said. But
so don't worry.
That's also what I said in my search commandment, that you should try to gather insights from the peers and the stakeholder group as well. I don't know if it's just an addition to the overall review process or just a method to gather more insights. But yeah, in the end, it's driven by the manager. But yeah, why not use other insights from other people as well to give a better view on the whole story? Because they are working each day with your product manager. And they are working each day together, so they probably have some other perspectives or some other insights you won't have at all. So yeah, it's good.
Absolutely, yeah. But don't worry, because we've got another question coming to you from Tomer this time, and he's asking, what should you do if you feel that the PM that gets their feedback does not really collaborate? They push back, and even when you provide examples, it feels like they are not really on board with you. So this is the thing about feedback. Sometimes people don't want to receive it. And we should, address that situation as well. So what do you say? What should we do if the other person does not feel like they want to interact with you on that level? Now, going back to everything that we mentioned, guys, everything we mentioned was structured this way, so we won't get these points, right? Because if you do it in a collaborative way, if you provide the examples, if you provide the goals, if you provide the KPIs, if you provide a timeline, if you provide everything that makes it less personal, more structured, and more streamlined in a way that is both positive and somewhat constructive, not negative, but constructive in a way, then we should not get to the point where the other person does not want to interact with us on that level and does not want to hear the feedback. But yet, it happens. So we should address that. And what do you say? What should we do then?
So I think this is why I said it's so important to have it bi-directional, so that you also, as a product manager, should reflect on your own work, on your own capabilities, and on your own outcomes, and also on your own performance. And when we are all in this kind of inspect and adapt mode, and a PM is really missing this kind of inspect and adapt on your own and your own performance, then it's definitely a big issue. But yeah, that's also why I always use this kind of comparison between the measure review and the self-assessment, to showcase probably a little bit more where are the differences in our observations. But of course, that's the most tough situation when someone don't want to accept feedback or don't want to have feedback, or don't want to act on them. Then it's hard.
It's hard indeed. Yeah, thank you very much, Kirsten. Han and Boaz, what do you say? How do we help Tomer?
Okay, should I go?
Go ahead.
Okay, I would say, of course, this is the part where it's no longer fun, right? To be in this session, and it's pure management work. And some people live, like we say in Hebrew, live inside the movie. And it's your role as the manager to say, listen, this may be your environment, your movie outside of work. Here we have different settings. And in the way that it works here in our workplace, you're not doing this and that. And you need to align to it. And you give the examples like Tomer mentioned. And sometimes it has to hit. If you have this bidirectional review and the person thinks that they have 4 stars and you think that they have 2 stars, I happen to have some discussions like that, which are really the worst. You can't back off of it. That's your role. That's actually what you need to do. You need to roll your sleeves and get down to it.
Yeah, we can get away from that. Yeah, we can get away from that. Thank you very much, Boaz. Hen?
I think that
I see the frustration on your face. I can see.
Yeah,
you feel the pain. You feel Tomer's pain.
Yeah, I feel the pain. I feel Tomer's pain, and I think that it's a managerial issue. I think that it's a bigger problem than just the feedback of the yearly, quarterly, monthly. I think that it's something that might come up in other cases, and I think that it opens a question about culture and fit. And I don't know a specific person that Tomer is asking about, but in my opinion, if someone is having issues with receiving feedback in the way that the company is structuring it, she might not be a good fit. And I know I'm not saying that it's always like this. Maybe it's something specific about specific feedback that this person is giving, but it sounds to me as a bigger issue.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of you guys. I think that if to summarize it a little bit, it indicates that there is some gap between that product manager and the way things are done at the company. It may showcase or indicate to the product manager themselves, by the way, that things actually are different than what they had in mind, and it may be time for them to switch into another place. Okay, this can be a situation, but it's also an indication for the managers to check their culture and check the fit and understand what's happening there, and if they got the right person for the job, because it's clearly indicates that there is a gap there. We just don't know how to solve this gap yet because we don't have enough information, but it's there, and we should address that. You can never run away from this mismatch of culture and fit. But I love this question. And I loved this session, and I had the best time, guys. What do you think? How was it for you?
You mean it's finished?
Yeah, we can stay here and hang out. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. We can do that. It's a product party.
It's been so much fun. I have to say that it's always a pleasure meeting new leaguers, new and existing and old leaguers, but it's fun to meet new people, and it was very insightful, and I've learned a lot of new stuff. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Karsten, Boaz, did you have fun?
Yeah, it was a fun time, and as always, time flies fast. So we are already at the end. So I really liked it, and we've seen again that there are so many different perspectives on so many product management topics. So that we are all sitting in a really challenging environment. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure is mine, absolutely. Yes, Boaz.
I loved it. It was a great session and a great forum. I enjoyed talking to all three of you, and very happy that this took place today.
Very happy to have you guys here with us. Can't wait to have you on our floor again. These were Boaz Ziegelman, Chief Product and Delivery Officer at Pangolin Labs and Product League Mentor, Kirsten Bockheimer, Lead Product Manager at Smart Recruiters and Product League Mentor, and Genshiel, Product Management Advisor at Genshiel and Product League Mentor. I am Moya Cassis. This is Product League. This magnificent, amazing, dedicated, and the guys that have so much experience. These are the league, the mentors. We can't wait to support all of you in the audience into becoming the best product managers you can be. Don't forget to join us for our next review session. Until then, hit the like button, subscribe, watch the dozen of other interesting product management sessions that we have all over the internet and on our channel. Can't wait to see you guys again. And until then, go lick it up. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Maurita. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.